All right, well, I think we're live. All right, hey, what's going on, everybody? It's me, the OG Steve Stroh. I'm joined here by Mr. Sockmaster himself as well, who's going to look at this thing with me. How you doing, Mr. Sockmaster?
Good. I'll just be watching because I don't have one of these things. I can't really tell you if something goes wrong.
All right, so what I just got in the mail today is a Raspberry Pi 3 kit. This is called a Cana kit. And basically what it comes with is the Raspberry Pi 3 unit itself, which I'm going to just put down here, somewhere in here. Okay, on there too is also a couple of heat sinks, because I guess there's two actual kits that come with this. So here's the guide. Okay, the Raspberry Pi kit, quick guide, whatever. It's kind of showing me pictures of the Raspberry Pi and what all the ports are. I don't think Raspberry Pis come shipped with SD cards or operating systems, if I'm not mistaken, but we'll find out right now. This is the Raspberry Pi system itself. These are the heat sinks that they provided. I don't think the Raspberry Pi by itself comes with heat sinks. So these look like a couple of self-adhesive heat sinks. Important note, the Raspberry Pi 3 requires Pi 3 compatible software to operate. It says like Noobs 1.0, 1.8.0 or later. And the Raspberry Pi 3 SD card slot mechanism is a friction fit slot by design. It's not spring loaded. So friction fit, I guess that just means you kind of slide it in. Oh, that's cute. It comes in like a little brown paper bag. It almost looks like a lunch bag or like a little grocery sack. That's kind of cool. And then, of course, there's these things here, instructions. Who reads those? All right. So, did you get the license plate number of that vehicle?
I should. Yes. They're disturbing my bird sounds.
Yes. Okay. So this is the Raspberry Pi 3. Here we have an HDMI output. That looks like a sound output. This is going to be my USB input for power. Over here I've got a handful of USB ports and then a hardwired Ethernet. I believe this also has somewhere in it, I believe it's got built-in Wi-Fi. Now what I might actually have to do is, I'm not sure where the bloody SD card goes. I'm trying to see the slot right now.
Underneath?
It's underneath, yeah. So here's the slot right here for the SD card. So this was sent to me by friend of the channel. This is Dan Loyal. And so what he also sent me was the micro SD card already programmed as a Retropi for Raspberry Pi 3. So Dan sent me, it was very cool, sent me this controller, which is a like a Super NES controller, and he sent me the micro SD card that I'm going to use. So I've never actually set up a Raspberry Pi. I don't know how to make a freaking Linux boot disk for it or anything like that. So this is not going to be super technical. This is basically going to be, let's plug it in and see what the heck, you know, Retropi looks like. So let's open up the micro SD card. And according to the directions, it's a friction slide. So we'll just find the right direction and we'll slide it in. And so it was over here somewhere. And so yeah, I am just going to slide in the micro SD card. Okay, micro SD is in. His directions do say here too, they say use with the Circa SNES controller. And I think when he emailed me, he asked me to make sure it was plugged in when I booted it up. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to uncoil this. We will plug in the USB cable. I'm already making quite the mess here, aren't I? Alright, so we'll plug this guy in. I need to plug in my HDMI cable. So here is, let me get this crap out of the way now. Let's throw this crap on the floor. Let's get on the floor. Plenty of garbage on the floor. Alright, here's my HDMI cable. We're going to plug him in there. Alright, so right now there's really only two connections. I've got the joystick, I've got HDMI, and right now too I'm going to have to use the power adapter that came with it, because I think when you buy the Pi, it's just the board. Just that single computer board, so you've got to power it somehow. And so this kit, you know, what this kit was basically a stock generic Raspberry Pi 3 with basically a charging unit or a power brick, you know, power adapter, and a couple of heat sinks. Now, what I ultimately want to do is I want to mount this in this case here. This is my Pi case. This was made by Glenn Hewlett. This is a 3D printed case that you're supposed to be able to put directly put the Raspberry Pi 3 in here. So I'm going to ultimately get an SD card that's got the Pi image on it that emulates the color computer. And I'm going to have a looking Pi. We're not going to do that today, though. I'm not going to mount that in there. Right now I'm just going to plug in the power brick and we're going to boot this thing up.
Silver paint.
Silver paint, right? No oven cleaner required in the refurbishing of this case. And it's Mercedes silver. All right, so here's the power cord. I've got that plugged in. Let's switch over to our HDMI right now. Hey, Paco Atakte is here. What's going on, Drancor? Call me on Skype, dude. And we'll plug this guy in. Okay, I've plugged him in. Now, is there like an on-off button for that? Oh, here we go. Raspberry Pi is booting up. Wow, that booted up fast. Retropi. It's already got a wallpaper on it. Wow, look at that. It has booted. That was quick, dude. I know it's probably still got more to boot. Curtis Boyle just jumped in, watching out of the corner of my eye whilst working. Okay, more Linuxy type stuff is booting up right now. Okay, it's looking for DHCP, which of course I have not configured any of this, so it's not on my Wi-Fi or anything else like that. Hey, Mr. Drifter is here. What's going on? Emulation Station is loading. So this must be the app. Yeah, I know nothing about how to actually install the Raspberry Pi operating system. I know nothing about installing the Retropi software. But here is my controller. I can move this. Oh, look at this. So these are the systems. Game Boy Advanced, Game Boy Color. Here's some MAME stuff. Sega Master System, Sega Mega Drive, NEO-GEO, Nintendo Entertainment System, PC Engines. I don't know all of what he's installed here. Oh, I guess these are the counts under each system. So under Super Nintendo, there's 845 games available. Under Atari 2600, if I let it hover here, 506 games available. Wow. Atari 7800. Hey, David Ladd is calling. Atari 7800 has 136 games available. That's cool. ColecoVision, how many? 257 games on the ColecoVision. How cool is that? Game Gear, 50 games available. Game Boy Advance. Wow, there's a lot of systems on here. 11 games available. Game Boy Color, 34. MAME, which is your arcade stuff. 601 MAME games. That's not a bad little arcade collection right there. Sega Master System, 306. I didn't know there was that many games for that system. Sega Mega Drive. That's okay. 839 games available. That's a nice collection. NEO-GEO, 92 games. All right, so let's just jump in. What should we pick here? Since this comes, and what the hell is Retropi? Is that just how you? Okay, that's how you configure it. Since this comes with a Super Nintendo controller, we will do that. And so now it says press A to select. Okay. So, now look at this. So now I have like kind of the cover art for all of the different systems and a description on the right-hand side here. Adam's Family, Values, Eye of the Beholder. I mean, oh my God, there's a ton of games in here. This is pretty cool. It's preloaded with ROMs. Alien 3. Okay, I'll bite. A to launch Alien 3. Launching Alien 3. Press A button. Okay. Here we go. Alien 3. TM 1993 20th Century Fox probe. Is any noise being made here? I don't know if my sound's coming through this capture here. What am I waiting on? Okay, here's some stars in the background.
Having fun, Steve.
Hopefully. Okay, well, yeah, Grant, if you want to call us on Skype, just call us on Skype. Okay, here now there's an egg. All right, I'm just trying to figure out if this bloody game's making any sounds here. I'm going to hit the start button. Because I'm not sure, since I'm... Okay, I can barely hear the sound on this thing. Let me check the sound on my PC configuration right now. What are you looking for?
Are you making a video?
Yes.
I was gonna look for some in the closet.
You can. You can look in the closet. Let me just check the settings on the audio on this thing here. Oh no. The audio is set to max. Okay. Alright, whatever. Let's hit start and see what the game looks like. Alien 3. Start game. Stage 1 ready. I have no idea how this game works or what the buttons are. It's just not that loud. I'm not sure if there's settings there. Okay. Very cool. Yeah, the graphics on this thing seem pretty cool. So this is a Super Nintendo game. Yeah, it's not very loud, so I don't know if there's settings in the Raspberry Pi that I need to set to control the volume. Now, what did Dan's instructions say? If I want to get out of this, to exit emulator or game, press select and start at the same time. Okay, so that's the exit stuff. Let's go back and let me see if there is an actual configurator. Okay, let's take a look at the Retropi configuration. And of course, I can't see it because the damn chat's in the way. So I'm going to have to move the chat out of the way now. Are you capturing from HDMI? Yes, Michael Brandt, I am.
Okay, love you, Dad. Bye.
Okay, bye. All right, Bluetooth, configuration editor, file manager, Retropi setup, Wi-Fi. Okay, here we go, audio. Configure audio settings, choose default of audio. Okay, mixer controls that apply. So then I'm going to A to launch that. And that's pretty cool that the whole interface is joystick driven. Okay, so I'm going to hit 3 for HDMI. Adjust the output volume. Okay, here we go. Okay, so there is a volume from here. And this is like basically like a DOS looking screen now. Okay, I probably need to hook up like a keyboard and mouse to this thing. Because yeah, holding this freaking thing down to change the volume is taking forever. Alright, let's get up into the red. Yeah, I like that. I want my ears to bleed. Come on. Put this thing up to 11. Okay.
You like that, don't you, Steve?
Yeah. All right. So now, how the hell do I get back? Yeah. So now it's asking me to. How do I get back? Okay. I don't know that I can get out of this screen here. So yeah, let me plug in a little wireless keyboard and mouse real quick. Yeah. So yeah, I guess that explains why it wasn't very loud though, because the.
So B didn't work to exit?
I don't know. No, B is not working. A is not working. And now it says press escape to exit that screen. Okay, so that screen is not one that's going to be 100% mouse driven. All right, let's go back into Retropi configuration. Let's go back to audio. Let me just take a look. Okay, so I want to choose 3 for HDMI. Set output as HDMI. Okay. All right, so yeah, it's louder now. Okay, so we'll go B to back. All right, let's pick something simple. Let's pick Atari 2600. We'll hit A to launch. Okay, 32-in-1 cartridge, 3D tick. Okay, this one doesn't seem to have the, not all of the artworks available for all of them. Air Raiders, Air C. So Air Lock, Alien. Here's another Alien game. Okay, hopefully I can play this one a little bit easier. So then it kind of just launches whatever. Okay. Ah, look at this. So do I hit start to start? Ah, it's like a little maze thing. Yeah, the volume is better now. That's really all it was just me having to change that setting. So
Looks like a Pac-Man.
yeah, it's actually better than the original Atari Pac-Man. All right. I can't see myself, but that's okay. Very cool. And so I hit B to go back. So yeah, as far as just setting it up, and let me switch back the camera again. I mean, this is the setup right here. This is the Raspberry Pi. It is a little itty bitty thing. It's really small. So this is a Pi 3 now. I mean, this is the whole system, Raspberry Pi 3. I'm actually holding it by the HDMI cable. I got the Sega, not the hell, it's not a Sega, but it's a Nintendo SNES USB adapter. This is me. I just plugged in my little Logitech wireless keyboard to get out of that screen. But yeah, I'm capturing this from HDMI. And Atari 20. Let's take a look at Atari 7800. Man, this is really cool. Okay, 3D asteroids. Yeah, there's games, because I have a real Atari 7800 and I don't have that many cartridges for it, so this will let me check out the games I don't have. I think I do have Centipede. Commando. I wonder if their Commando is any better than our Coco Commando. Dark Chambers. Ooh, that sounds scary. Dig Dug. I played Dig Dug. Donkey Kong Jr., Double Dragon. Ooh, I want to see what Double Dragon looks like on the Atari 7800. This is cool. Yeah, so it kind of switches over to a... Oh, man.
Nice.
All right. That's the one thing that was disappointing about the press select to choose. All right. Oh my God, this is really bad. This is not much better. This is not any better than like the NES version, and the music's much worse.
Well, this is the Atari 7800.
Yeah.
Just think this could be the Atari 2600.
Well, that's the thing about this system, is it actually uses the sound chip from the Atari 2600, so the sound system on it sucks. But let's take a look at what Galaga looks like on here. All right, I love how if you have it set up right, you can get the cover art and you can see like the box cover, and you can get some like text on it and stuff like that. Wow, this is bad. I'm pretty sure you can emulate even like Atari 400 and 800 games. I would really like to play some Atari 5200 games. So I'll have to reach out to a few people on how to do that. But yeah, it's really easy to use. It is really, really easy to use. I love this gallery kind of menu system here where you can switch between consoles. So let me get the hell out. I'm pressing both buttons and then it's B to go back. Okay, so ColecoVision. Let's fire up ColecoVision. Let's see what 2010, the graphic action game. Never even heard of that. Alphabet Zoo, Amazing Bumpman. I love how it has like some cover art built in here. Aquatic Adventure from Konami. Aquatic Attack, BC, Grog's Revenge, Beam Rider. I wonder what that is. Boulder Dash. That was a pretty popular game, huh? Boulder Dash. Buck Rogers, Planet of Zoom. Bump and Jump, Burger Time. You want me to take a look at Ball Blazer, Curtis? Select 1 or 2 players. Now, this is the thing I think we would have a problem with, which is like on the ColecoVision, it also expects like a numeric keypad. Okay, I can just press. I actually have a physical keyboard. Okay.
Curtis needs to call in.
Yeah. Okay, that's the second button. Now, what this also emulates pretty good is the crappy flashing sprites that the ColecoVision had.
Oh my goodness.
This is good. This is good.
This has been a long time since I've seen Burger Time.
Yeah, so this emulates... this definitely emulates the bad blinky sprite issue that this system had. And I got killed. Yeah, that's cool. So the I wonder what it's using on the back end. I wonder if it uses the same emulation for all systems, if it's using like MAME or MES for everything, or if it like launches different emulators depending on the platform. I'll have to pick Dan's brain when that happens. The fact that there's Game Boy games. Let's see what they have for MAME. Let's see what kind of arcade games are in here. Oh, 1941, 1942. These games are classic. What did I just do here? Oh, Mega Drive. Okay, so these are... Oh, so while you're in the menu, you can all... Oh, NEO-GEO. That was a cool system. I love how the artwork is all here. Nintendo, PC Engine. Was that a computer system or was that a game system? PC Engine.
That was
I don't know.
Okay.
That's TurboGrafx 16.
Oh, TurboGrafx 16. Okay. Atari. Okay, what was the game he was asking about? Ball Blazer or something like that?
Yes, Ball Blazer.
All right, I'm gonna go back up and look for Ball Blazer. Ball
You
Blazer.
said it was on the 7800.
Yeah. Ball Blazer. Ball Blazer is a simple one-on-one sports style game bearing similarities to basketball and soccer. Never heard of it. Okay, Lucasfilm. Oh, wow. What am I doing? I have no idea.
I have no idea.
My balls are blazing. Oh, I have to... Oh, it's like a sports game. Okay, I have to... It's pretty 3D-ish. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, not that interested, though. That's not a game I would play. That's totally a Curtis thing there. ColecoVision was cool. Game Gear. What the hell? The Game Gear was like the portable version of the Genesis? Game Boy Advance? Or Master System, okay. Grant Leedy is calling in. Welcome to the bonus episode of Coco Talk. Featuring nothing to do with the Coco. Okay, so now we're in MAME. Yeah, let's find an arcade game. Okay, like one that'll work good with Bad Dudes versus Dragon Ninja. Wonder if Donkey Kong Remix is in here.
I would be really surprised.
Blues Journey Bosconian. That's a game that's on the Coco. All right, we'll take a look at that. Press A to start. Now, what do we have for instance? I haven't configured this. What's the insert coin? I wonder if like select is insert coin and start is player one start.
Probably select. Or you could press the 5 key on your control pad.
Okay, yeah, we still have a BIOS booting up right now. They must be doing things in MAME to like bypass the game info screens and stuff like that, I would imagine. Curtis is asking for Gauntlet too. All right, so there we go. Yeah, so there we go. It is select is insert coin and start is one player start.
Locked all.
Oh yeah, the. Okay, so X is button 2. I gotta get used to what the buttons are in this bloody controller.
Locked
Okay.
all.
I'm gonna probably have to order another one of these things because the main reason why I got this is I actually want to set up a Coco Pi, but I like this Retropi, so I'm thinking if I just load up all the ROMs I want. I've actually got the X Arcade Tank Stick, which is the full-on arcade stick with trackball and all that stuff, and I've always wanted to build a MAME cabinet, so this might be my inspiration now. It seems like the guts are pretty inexpensive if you can do it with a Pi 3, you know.
Yeah, if it's got everything in it, you just build a cabinet and shove it in there, and probably do everything you want.
Yeah, it's amazing that that this little piece of hardware has the horsepower to drive, these emulators. What do you want, Cat? This is cool. Okay, where did I go? PC Engine. I've never seen these games before. Let's take a look at one of these guys here. PC Engine. Yeah, these ROMs probably need to be cleaned up on their names. I always found that to be somewhat confusing when the ROMs have all these letters at the end, and some of them have exclamation points, and some of them don't. I know U is universal, J is Japanese, E is U USA, and E is Europe, and J is Japan, something like that. I know there's a naming convention for these things. Yeah, Big West Purdue came in a little bit late with it. That's what she said. I'm probably responding to one of your things when you said just shove it in there or something like that. So, yeah, I was a good boy. I resisted. That was the first thing that came to my mind too. So, Tato. Wow, this thing's got pretty good graphics for a. This was TurboGrafx 16. Put me in, Coach. What are we doing here?
This is Nancy at Safe's headquarters. We've got an emergency here.
Wow, digital speech.
Gotcha, Nancy.
Wow. Wow, this is good. I don't know what my buttons are. Pad 1 button turbo off. Turbo on. Dude, I don't know what the buttons are. Do I have to press up to go fast? How do I drive fast on this damn thing? That's my brakes. Okay, A button is gas. Alright, I'm slow but I'm steady. Now, this is impressive. A little bit rigid on the steering here, but no, this was definitely better than like an NES. This is, you know, Sega Genesis quality or better.
Yeah, TurboGrafx was like the first 16-bit system, although it technically was 8-bit, but it had the color and sprites like a 16-bit console.
Ah, okay. Was that NEC that released that?
Yeah, I think so.
I ran out of gas. Alright, now that's cool. Man, I got games to try out now.
Reminds me of pole position.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Super Nintendo. What were some cool games on the Super Nintendo? Can I like
Pretty much all the
page down?
Marios. Castlevanias.
Yeah. Ooh, Castlevania. Let's look at one of those.
Castlevania 2 on the NES was my favorite.
Alright, so the one that's here now is Castlevania Dracula X. And this one I should just be able to hit start since I'm using the Nintendo controller on a Nintendo emulator now. Konami. Oh, blood. New game. Oh, I remember that. Remember when you had to use a password to save and load your game? You had to write down like a 96 character alphanumeric password in your instruction booklet.
Most of the games on the NES, like what was it, Dragon Warriors, the Castlevanias, Kid Icarus, I think, used it too.
I like whipping things. Oh, holy crap.
That's what she said.
Now we got Drencore in here. So Drencore, did you appreciate all the humor I had at your expense when you were not in Skype last night?
I am not going to dig.
Where is your spirit of adventure? How do I jump?
Well, certainly not with her.
This is good, man. This is really good emulation. I mean, if it's just running MAME or MES, you know, you would expect it to be good, but I don't know. I'm just impressed. How do you change to your other weapon? I don't even know.
You drop it when you pick up a new one.
How do you activate that weapon?
Whatever you was doing when you threw it earlier.
I don't remember, dude. What are you asking me to understand something? I've never played this stinking game before. Oh, I got some skeletons up here. What are you saying there, Big Wes Purdue? Some of those primitive password systems were actually my intro to programming to some degree. Or is more like intro to hacking. You figure out the password algorithm, and you look up on. You used to be able to look up in the before there was. I was going to say online. I guess it was magazines back then, but there were magazines you could get that had cheat guides or had like passwords you could use to, you know, get further in the game and stuff. The magazines were our internet at one point in time.
Yes, it was called strategy guides.
We always got like the Game Informer magazine or whatever it was, you know. Each month they had a magazine that would just kind of tell you all the tips and tricks of the games.
Nintendo Power.
Okay, there we go. You just got to move diagonally to get up there. Yeah, this is cool. This is cool. Let's look at some more systems. Let's. All right, so we got Super Nintendo. We know what Atari 2600 is all about. Atari 7800. Yeah, the chat. Unfortunately, the chat's kind of in my way. I don't know what a good Atari 7800 game is, unfortunately. I did play Donkey Kong. I found the game to be good, but I found the sounds to be like most of 7800 games. That the sounds make your ears bleed. Akari Warriors. That might be interesting.
Joust.
Joust. Oh yeah, I haven't seen Joust on the 7800. That's probably worth looking at too. Oh, this is so bad though. Fun player.